News 4 Jax starts right now with a breaking news alert.
And that local breaking news alert comes from the Newtown area where a 1-year-old nearly drowned in a bathtub.
Earlier this evening, crews responded to a home on West Beaver Street. Channel 4's Scott Johnson has been following this story all evening. Scott, tell us where that child is now.
Joy, we know the child is at the hospital, UF Health, up on 8th Street. The mom is there with the child after investigators showed up here at a home on West Beaver Street. That's just west of the downtown area a few hours ago. The baby was in a bathtub, almost drowned, found unresponsive. They do have the child still alive in critical condition. We're praying the child will be okay. We do know that they've been talking to family members, to people who are in the area. They're investigators with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, not telling us specifically who was with the child at the time or what specifically happened leading up to this almost drowning in the bathtub. No charges has been filed in this. No one's in custody at this point. They're just trying to continue their investigation, make sure this child survives. That is the hope here. But once again, that child in critical condition, 1-year-old. They're not saying if it's a little boy or a little girl at this time. We are hoping to hear that soon. But for now, live in the Newtown area, Scott Johnson, Channel 4, the local station.
And we're following a local breaking news alert out of Jacksonville where an arson suspect from Gainesville has been arrested. The Gainesville Police Department says Stephen Underwood was captured tonight. Police say he'll likely be charged with murder, arson, burglary, and grand theft. Police tell us that 75-year-old Thomas Oakland died in a house fire on Wednesday. News 4 Jax will have a camera in the first appearance tomorrow, and we'll bring you the latest once Underwood faces a judge.
We hope you enjoyed the last few days with temperatures reaching into the 80s.
Yeah, it's going to come to an end. We've been the envy of the nation that's still dealing with winter weather. Some of those cooler temperatures will be in our area by the time you head out for work in the morning or school. Here's the Weather Authority's John Gahn. John?
And winds that'll be up to around 20 miles an hour while we see temperatures into the 40s. Rob, much more in the weekend forecast here in just a few moments.
All right, thank you, John. A $3.3 million payday is getting closer to reality for the family of a Jacksonville teenager who was left paralyzed after being crushed by a large tree limb back in 2011. Well, today, a Florida Senate committee approved a bill that would lead to the city of Jacksonville making that payment to the family of Aubrey Stewart. The city agreed to a $3.3 million settlement with Stewart's family because the city had not removed the rotted out tree even after people complained about its safety. But the state's sovereign immunity laws placed a $200,000 limit on what could be paid. The teenager's mother says her son is still coping with his paralysis.
He still wants his legs. He's still wishing that he can't run. He's still wishing that he can't walk. And we still trust in God that one day, even though the doctor says it's not going to happen, we still trust in God that he will.
Well, the Stewart family did receive the $200,000 from the city. However, the teen's mother says that money has nearly run out. We'll, of course, follow this bill as it moves through the legislature and bring you updates.
2 people were injured tonight in a car accident in Clay County's Lake Asbury. It happened at the intersection of Fireside Drive and Henley Road. That crash involved 2 cars. We know one woman was taken to UF Health by helicopter. She had serious injuries. Another woman taken to another local hospital by her parents. Her condition is unknown. Hold it or fail. Tonight, a local father is outraged because he says his son's school did not accept a doctor's note saying his son is to be allowed to take bathroom breaks during a major upcoming exam. That man tells News 4 Jax his 4th grade son suffers from a weak bladder, which causes him to have accidents at school. Channel 4's Francesca Amaker joining us live outside Woodland Acres Elementary School in Arlington after speaking with that father tonight about his frustrations. Francesca.
Well, Joy, that father tells me that his son has a history of wetting himself here at this school. And come March 26th, during the FSA testing, he does not want that accident to happen again. And again, now this school has reached out to Mr. Taylor's son's doctor to get that medical diagnosis, and then they plan to move forward with making recommendations for the student. For now, reporting live, Francesca Amaker, Channel 4, the local station.
A White Springs teenager arrested for murdering her brother has accepted a plea deal to a lesser charge. 15-year-old Ariel Cornegie was convicted of burglary today by a Columbia County judge. Now, prosecutors say they reviewed years of sexual and physical abuse against the teen before offering the deal. As part of the deal, she won't go to jail. Instead, Carnegie must go to counseling and not miss any school. The sheriff's office says Ariel admitted killing her brother after he wouldn't let her out of a locked room that only contained a blanket and a waste bucket. Ariel's 11-year-old sister let her out of that room. They broke into their parents' room and got a loaded handgun. The parents, Misty and Keith Carnegie, are facing child neglect charges. Another part of the deal is that Ariel has agreed to testify against her parents.
Tonight, News4JAX obtained new video showing the moments after a Gilchrist County grandfather shot and killed his daughter and 6 grandchildren. This is new video released today of dashcam video as police arrived at Donald Spirit's home. He told dispatchers by phone he had just killed his daughter, 28-year-old Sarah Spirit, and her 6 children. After deputies arrived at the home, Donald Spirit turned the gun on himself. A new FDLE report on the case reveals Donald was frustrated with his family. Sarah was unemployed but gave him money to stay at his house, money she made by providing sexual favors to a man she didn't know well. We spoke with a neighbor today who says she still can't make sense of this killing.
When there were no witnesses, no survivors, and for the little baby, which wasn't, 6 months old, to be one of the 6 that got killed, or 7, counting himself, it's just, I don't understand how individuals can go to that extreme.
The report says everyone was shot in the head except the 3-month-old child, Alana Stewart, who was shot in the chest.
Now to election 2015, a new poll from UNF shows Mayor Alvin Brown is leading his closest competitor, Republican Lenny Curry, in the race for Jacksonville mayor. But a lot can change. That poll shows there are a lot of undecided voters and many others who say they don't know much about the candidates. As Channel 4's Scott Johnson tells us, tonight was the night for voters to get to know the candidates.
Scott Johnson, Channel 4, the local station.
A child forced to jump from a second-story window by his mother.
Still ahead, what the mother told the boy to jump or risk his life. Up next, social media is now a fabric of our society. You'll want to stay here to see how those digital footprints are helping law enforcement solve crimes. Selfies, Twitter, and Instagram pics made by criminals bragging about their crimes. We've seen them in the headlines.
Every one of those social media posts can leave a digital fingerprint in the cloud, and it's helping detectives solve cases.
Every time you touch the network, you leave a part of yourself somewhere. It's just a matter of us trying to figure out where that piece is and putting the puzzle back together again.
Randy's case was solved because he had the proper settings turned on. This simple step, it's critical when it comes to helping police track down thieves. For more information on how to do that, we have links inside this story on news4jax.com. Just look under Top Stories.
Our 5 powerful radar sweeps give you 5 times more coverage, letting you know when severe weather's coming, hours before it happens. Channel 4 is the weather authority.
So do you want us to get mad at you tonight or wait till tomorrow?
Can I take off
really
tomorrow?
Cold? Oh, no.
Rebecca when I need
No, you don't want to take off tomorrow.
We need you.
Yeah, actually, it's going to be a lot of fun for me. I think for the rest of everybody, it's going to be kind of a tough night. Temperatures will be, by the time you wake up Saturday morning, will be just on the edge of freezing. So it's just kind of weird like that. Take a look at the numbers for tomorrow. All right, download the app. You can see more of these great pictures if you do so.
All right, thank you, John.
A child forced to jump for his life out of a second-story window.
Up next, why police are questioning the mother about a potential crime that led them both to take a fall.
Like WJXT4, the local station, on Facebook.
A 7-year-old St. Petersburg boy is recovering from head injuries after he and his mother jumped from a second-story window.
Now, this is video of the second-floor apartment. Police arrived at the home after reports of a break-in, but it wasn't clear if a crime actually took place. Officers say the woman inside didn't believe it was the police at the door, so she wouldn't let him in. Officers reported the woman was armed with a shotgun and running around the house with her son in tow.
We're not sure if she pushed him, if she talked him into jumping, or what, but clearly She was extremely distraught, and she was not making a lot of sense when our officers were trying to talk to her.
Well, the boy is still in stable condition. The Department of Children and Families is also investigating.
Here's an unusual case making international headlines. A Florida man is facing charges of cyber slander in the United Arab Emirates. That man works in the UAE, but he was back in the U.S. when he posted negative comments on Facebook about the company for which he works. Ryan Pate works for Global Aerospace Logistics. He was on leave in Florida when he posted that his company is, quote, backstabbers. Pate was having a pay issue with his employer at the time. He was arrested as soon as he arrived back in the UAE. There's a law in that nation that makes it an offense to mock people or organizations on the internet.
Prosecutor told me there was definitely going to be a fine. I'm not sure what the total fine is going to be. That's entirely up to the judge. But there's a fine, possible prison time, and possible deportation.
Yeah, Pate faces a possible 5-year prison sentence. Well, there's a new system at Disney designed to let you have more time in the parks and less time in the parking lots.
After sports, how the new high-tech system works.
UNF 1 win away from its first trip to the NCAA tournament. They made another step tonight. Highlights from UNF Arena, a jam-packed UNF Arena, coming up next in sports. Through 8 seasons with the Jaguars, more than 8,000 career rushing yards, 81 total touchdowns. One of the best.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Michael.
Yep.
It was so fun to watch, too, because you just never knew.
Yeah.
Boom, there he go, rolling right through. And kind of like the cold air that's heading our way.
Rolling right through.
All right, the defense no longer holding back. Here comes the cold wave, and the offensive conditions will be in cold conditions. 50s already in Georgia. They'll be in around the upper 30s, low 40s tomorrow morning. Cold blast for your Friday. The bounce back is there starting Saturday. The more sunshine, that beautiful March sunshine will make things delightful late in the day.
All right. Thank you, John. Well, we've all been there driving around looking for a parking spot, getting frustrated when we can't find one.
Well, Disney is going high-tech to help ease parking problems so guests can spend more time in the parks. Here's how it'll work. When somebody pulls into a parking spot, a sensor sends a signal to that electronic board that displays how many spots are available. So far, the new system is getting rave reviews. But you see those lights?
Yes.
JAX does the same type of thing. You know, where you pull into a spot and the green light turns red, so you can just look down the aisle.
Yeah, it tells you how many there are, too.
All over it. Way ahead of Disney.
Pioneers.
Thanks for watching.
At News 4 Jax, we're always covering the news, even when we're not on TV. Stay informed, on the go, and online at news4jax.com.